Every time I hear a woman over 60 say, "I can't wear maxi dresses anymore," I know she's blaming the wrong thing. It was never the dress. The real mistake is far more subtle. Most women never see it, because they've been taught to look at clothes instead of looking at what clothes are actually doing. And once you understand that difference, you'll never choose a maxi dress the same way again. I've spent years studying why some women seem unforgettable the moment they walk into a room. Surprisingly, it has very little to do with age, body size, or even the price of what they're wearing. It has everything to do with proportion, movement, intention, and the quiet confidence that great design can reveal, but never manufacture. Here at EverGrace Style, we don't chase trends, and we don't dress to fool anyone into thinking we're younger. We believe style after 60 should feel intelligent, refined, and deeply personal. A beautiful wardrobe doesn't hide your life experience. It gives it a graceful frame. Today, we're going beyond fashion advice. Think of this as stepping inside a designer's studio, where every fold, every fabric, every line, and every movement tells a story. By the end of this video, you'll understand why some maxi dresses make a woman look effortlessly remarkable, while others quietly erase her presence. And I have a feeling the biggest surprise won't be hanging in your closet. It will be the way you've been looking at it all along. Here's the first lesson every great designer learns. A dress is never judged by itself. Not once. The moment you put it on, it becomes part of something much bigger. It borrows your posture. It follows your pace. It echoes your confidence. And together, they create a single impression that people recognize long before they notice the color, the pattern, or the brand on the label. This is where so many women become frustrated with maxi dresses. They stand in front of the mirror, see a beautiful garment, and wonder why it somehow feels ordinary the moment they wear it outside. The answer isn't hiding in the fabric. It's hiding in the woman wearing it. Now, here's the part nobody talks about. Luxury fashion houses never evaluate a dress on a motionless mannequin for very long. They watch it move. They watch it breathe. They watch how it reacts to every step, every turn, every natural gesture. Because clothing is not meant to decorate a body, it's meant to come alive with it. Imagine two women wearing nearly identical navy maxi dresses. The first walks with hurried steps, shoulders gently rounded, eyes fixed on the sidewalk. She keeps adjusting the fabric as though she's apologizing for taking up space. The second walks at exactly the same pace, yet somehow everything feels different. Her shoulders are relaxed. Her stride is unhurried. Her hands move naturally. The dress doesn't lead her. She leads the dress. People may not understand why one woman looks remarkably elegant and the other simply looks dressed, but they feel the difference instantly. And that's the extraordinary thing about style after 60. It becomes less about what you're wearing and more about the relationship between you and your clothes. A maxi dress cannot create confidence for you, but it can beautifully reveal the confidence that's already there. Before you buy another dress, ask yourself a different question. Not, is this flattering? Ask, does this dress move the way I move? Because the most unforgettable outfits are never the loudest. They're the ones that seem completely at home on the woman wearing them. And once you begin noticing movement instead of simply looking at fabric, you'll discover another detail that quietly separates ordinary dresses from extraordinary ones. If I could change just one habit for every woman who wears maxi dresses after 60, it wouldn't involve buying a new dress. It would begin 6 inches above the floor, because that's where proportions quietly win, or quietly fall apart. Most women think the hem and the shoes are two separate decisions. A designer never sees them that way. The hemline is already speaking to the shoes before you take your very first step. If they aren't speaking the same language, your entire silhouette feels unsettled, even when no one can explain why. This sounds small, but it changes everything. A flowing dress that barely grazes the top of a refined leather loafer creates calm. A softly structured maxi, paired with a sleek low-block heel, gives the body quiet direction. Even a modern white leather sneaker can look sophisticated when the shape of the dress allows just enough movement above it. Now compare that with a hem that's too long, constantly searching for the ground. It hides the ankle completely. It collects around the feet. Every step becomes slightly hesitant, because the dress appears heavier than it really is. The problem isn't the extra fabric. The problem is that your body disappears before you even begin to move. Great fashion is rarely about showing more skin. It's about revealing the right amount of structure. Sometimes catching a glimpse of the ankle for a single moment creates more elegance than exposing half the leg. That tiny flash tells the eye exactly where the body ends and where the dress begins. Suddenly, your proportions become clear. Your stride looks lighter. Your presence feels more intentional. Picture yourself walking into a lunch with friends, a gallery opening, or a quiet dinner on a summer evening. No one studies your shoes. No one measures the length of your dress. What they notice is harmony. Everything belongs together. Everything feels considered. Before leaving home, don't ask whether your shoes match the color of your dress. Ask a far more powerful question. Does the bottom of this outfit feel alive, or does it feel heavy? Design is full of invisible conversations, and the next one happens in a place almost every woman overlooks: the empty space between her body and the fabric itself. Let me share a secret that has nothing to do with age, and almost everything to do with elegance. When most people look at a dress, they focus on the fabric. Designers often look at the empty space first. Yes, the empty space. The quiet pocket of air between your body and the garment. That invisible space is where comfort becomes sophistication, or where comfort quietly becomes carelessness. Many women have been told that, after 60, looser is safer, more forgiving, more comfortable. Comfort matters. But oversized comfort is not the same thing as graceful ease. They're worlds apart. Now imagine a beautifully made maxi dress in soft linen. It doesn't cling to the body, yet it doesn't drift aimlessly either. As you walk, the fabric follows with gentle intention. It leaves just enough room for movement, enough room for light, enough room for the eye to understand your shape without demanding attention. That is not an accident. That is design. Now imagine the opposite. Too much fabric, too much volume, too much distance between you and the silhouette. Instead of creating elegance, the dress begins to erase your presence. The woman disappears, and only the garment remains. This is exactly why luxury brands rarely chase excess. They shape space just as carefully as they shape fabric, because style is never about adding more. It's about knowing when to stop. Picture yourself standing by an open window on a quiet afternoon. A gentle breeze catches the skirt for just a moment. The fabric lifts slightly, settles naturally, and then falls back into place without effort. Nothing dramatic, nothing theatrical. Yet somehow, it feels unforgettable. Why? Because the dress isn't fighting your body. It's cooperating with it. That invisible relationship creates a sense of quiet confidence that no bold print, expensive handbag, or statement necklace could ever replace. The next time you slip into a maxi dress, don't ask whether it hides your figure. Ask something far more revealing. Is there enough space for this dress to breathe without asking me to disappear? The most refined women are not hidden by their clothes. They're gently introduced by them. And once you understand the language of space, you'll begin to notice something even more powerful. The way movement can transform an ordinary dress into something that feels almost unforgettable. People often ask me why one maxi dress looks effortlessly luxurious while another, sometimes costing 3 times as much, never quite feels special. The answer surprises them every time. Luxury is rarely about decoration. Luxury is about consistency. The finest garments don't rely on dramatic details to impress you. They don't need oversized ruffles, glittering embellishments, or complicated prints competing for attention. They earn your attention another way. They behave beautifully. Watch a truly elegant maxi dress as someone walks across a room. The fabric doesn't suddenly billow in one direction and collapse in another. It doesn't twist awkwardly around the legs or demand constant adjustment. Every movement feels calm. Every line settles naturally. Every step seems to finish the sentence that the previous step began. That quiet predictability is what your eyes recognize as quality, even if you never realize you're seeing it. Now here's something most shoppers never think about. When a designer reviews a new collection, the model isn't asked to stand perfectly still for very long. She's asked to walk, turn, sit, reach for a chair, climb a few steps, pick something up from a table. Why? Because clothing lives in motion. A dress that only looks beautiful while you're standing in front of a mirror has already failed its most important job. Imagine wearing your favorite maxi dress to a family celebration. You hug someone you haven't seen in months. You pull out a chair, you laugh, You reach across the table. You stroll through the garden afterward. You shouldn't be thinking about your dress every few seconds. Your dress should quietly be thinking about you. That's the difference. The most elegant women aren't constantly managing their clothes. Their clothes seem to understand them. This is exactly why timeless style always feels relaxed instead of rehearsed. Nothing looks forced. Nothing appears fragile. The entire outfit moves as though it has known its wearer for years. Before you fall in love with a dress because of its color or pattern, ask yourself one final question. Will this dress still look beautiful after an hour of living in it, or only for 10 seconds in front of a mirror? Because genuine elegance isn't created in the fitting room. It's revealed in real life. And that brings us to the lesson I believe every woman deserves to hear. Why confidence has less to do with the dress itself than with the quiet permission you give yourself to be seen. There is something I've noticed over the years. It has nothing to do with fashion trends, and everything to do with human nature. Some women walk into a room wearing a beautiful maxi dress, yet somehow they seem to be asking permission to be there. Not with their words, with the way they carry themselves. Their shoulders soften inward. Their hands keep searching for something to adjust. They smooth the fabric again and again, as though hoping the dress will solve a feeling that never belonged to the dress in the first place. I've seen this more often than you might imagine, especially among women who have spent decades taking care of everyone else. Somewhere along the way, they quietly learned to become smaller, quieter, less noticeable, as if elegance meant disappearing. I don't believe that for a second. Now let me tell you something I wish every woman over 60 could hear. A remarkable woman does not become elegant because she wears a beautiful maxi dress. The dress becomes elegant because she chooses to wear it without apology. There is an enormous difference. The finest garments were never designed to hide a woman's story. They were designed to honor it. Every silver strand of hair, every smile line, every season she has survived. None of these are flaws that require distraction. They are details that deserve thoughtful framing. Picture two women entering the very same room. Both are dressed beautifully. One keeps wondering whether people are noticing her age. The other is simply enjoying the conversation, the laughter, the music, and the people around her. Which woman appears more stylish? The answer has almost nothing to do with clothing. Confidence has a remarkable way of simplifying everything around it. A maxi dress cannot erase self-doubt, but it can amplify quiet self-respect. And people feel that long before they notice the label stitched inside the neckline. Style after 60 is not about looking younger. It is about looking fully present. About dressing as though your years have given you clarity instead of permission to disappear. The most unforgettable women I've ever met shared one quiet habit. They never entered a room hoping to be accepted. They entered already believing they belonged. Wear your next maxi dress with that thought in mind. You'll discover that elegance has been waiting for you all along. And before we finish, there's one final lesson, perhaps the most unexpected of them all, because the mirror you've trusted for years may not be telling you the whole truth. Before we end, I'd like you to try a small experiment. The next time you put on a maxi dress, don't stand in front of the mirror first. Walk. Take 10 slow steps across the room. Turn around naturally. Sit down, stand back up. Reach for a book on a shelf. Walk through a doorway. Then, and only then, look in the mirror again. Because the mirror has been telling you only part of the story. A mirror captures a single frozen moment. Life never does. This is one of the first realities every fashion designer learns. Beautiful clothing isn't created for stillness. It's created for living. Every sketch eventually becomes movement. Every pattern is tested in motion. Every collection is judged by what happens after the model takes that first step. The audience doesn't remember a dress because it looked perfect standing still. They remember how it made them feel as it moved through the light. Real life works exactly the same way. Your neighbors don't see you standing perfectly centered in front of a mirror. Your family doesn't remember you that way. Your friends don't experience you as a photograph. They remember the way you greeted them at the door, the way you laughed, the way you reached across the table, the way your dress moved gently as you walked beside them. Those are the moments that become your style. Not the reflection, the memory. This is why I encourage women to stop asking one familiar question. Does this dress make me look thinner? Instead, ask something far more meaningful. Does this dress allow me to live beautifully? That single question changes everything. Because true elegance is never measured in inches. It isn't found in a number on a clothing label. And it certainly isn't hidden inside a trend. It lives in freedom. Freedom to move, freedom to breathe, freedom to be completely yourself, without feeling the need to explain, disguise, or apologize. Perhaps that's why the most stylish women I've ever known all shared one quiet quality. They never looked as though they were wearing a beautiful dress. They looked as though the dress had simply become another graceful part of who they already were. And in the end, that may be the greatest compliment fashion can ever receive. When people remember the woman, long after they've forgotten the dress. Perhaps the greatest misunderstanding about style after 60 has never been about age. It's been about permission. Permission to stand a little taller. Permission to wear beautiful things without wondering whether they're appropriate. Permission to stop dressing for old expectations and start dressing for the woman you've spent a lifetime becoming. A maxi dress is only fabric. It has no confidence of its own, no wisdom, no grace. Those qualities have always belonged to you. The dress simply gives them a chance to be seen. So the next time you slip into one, don't ask whether it makes you look younger. Ask whether it reflects the woman you are today. Because the most timeless women are never remembered for following fashion. They're remembered for expressing themselves with quiet certainty. I'd love to hear your story. Is there a maxi dress hanging in your closet that you've been hesitant to wear? Or perhaps there's one you've owned for years that has always made you feel like the very best version of yourself. Share it with us in the comments. Your experience may encourage another woman who needs to hear exactly what you've learned. And if thoughtful, timeless style speaks to you more than fast-changing trends, I hope you'll join us here at EverGrace Style. Every week, we explore the quiet details that transform clothing into confidence and fashion into something deeply personal. Until next time, wear what honors your story, not what hides it.